Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the New Nation podcast. My name is Mike, and I will be your host. God bless you on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. At least that's when I'm recording this. Do you know where I just came back from? I actually went to the first mall I've been to in maybe the last 6-7 years. And I'll tell you what was lacking, at least that I noticed anyway, lacking security. There was no mall security. Not that there was a lot of people, but I didn't see any security. You know where I do see security? With my partnership with Aura. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, even your relatives. It's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's podcast. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use this information to help them access my social media accounts, my bank accounts, or other sensitive information. Aura also does so much more to protect me and my family from online threats I can't see. It's really easy to set up, so I don't have to download several different apps to get things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more. I get everything at one affordable price. You may already have one or two of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing the hard work of keeping me safe so I can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. I value my privacy and I value yours, my valued listener. You can go to aura.com/new to start your 2-week free trial, also linked below in the description. Remember, guys, it's a 2-week free trial, so allow Aura to be the security that gives you the peace of mind and the comfort that someone out there is looking out for you. aura.com/new. Plenty of things to talk about. We are going to talk about the March for Life. We're going to talk about Taylor Swift. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. We're going to talk about beer. We're also going to talk about how Catholic influencers are kind of annoying. Maybe myself involved in there too. And then we're going to answer some questions because there are some fun Q&As that I want to get to that you guys submitted to Instagram. And before I get into that, remember, I'm having a giveaway. You can look at the post on the new.nation on Instagram. I'm giving away 5 really cool gifts. One of those is a brown scapular with a Consecration to Mary book by St. Louis de Montfort, and a St. Benedictine medal, some old IDG vintage merchandise, some tote bags, and some other cool things. I might even throw in some frankincense incense in there so you guys can make your offices and houses smell like the inside of a very reverent church. So please go to the new.nation on Instagram. Sign up for that giveaway. It's ending on February 29th, and then I'm going to announce the winners that Saturday. It goes to a good cause. I'm trying to buy a second car for the family. So like I said, go to aura.com/new, sign up for a free 14-day trial. And let's get into the show. The first thing that I wanted to talk about, a buddy of mine had mentioned that the March for Life Instagram account is deleting comments on one specific post, on this post of Taylor Swift that they did. So if you go to their Instagram, it's just the March for Life. I didn't know who this was. All I saw was a woman on a bed with her, half of her head cut off, and it's a very sultry pose. She's laying in her underwear and, no stockings or anything, midriff showing, kind of top of the shirt's undone a little bit. And then what it says on the first slide, it says, quote, "Babies deserve to be born." Okay, pro-life message. The next slide, it's the same picture. These all have the same picture. "Pregnancy is a gift, not a disease. Abortion isn't healthcare. True. No child is unwanted. True. Babies' lives matters. True. Human life isn't disposable. Also true. Pro-life men. Good. Yes, better. Pro-life is pro-woman. Very true. Nobody is ever, quote, just a clump of cells. That's true. March for Life to save the babies in a state near you." And that's the end of it. And I guess what my buddy was trying to talk about, or people whose comments were getting deleted, were just saying, hey, maybe don't put this message on such a, not an immoral image, but just not on an unconservative image and a half-naked lady. Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't objectify women this way. And I guess the only reason why they did this was because Taylor Swift is known to be very pro-choice, very pro-abortion, even though she says that, I think she said a quote a little while ago was, "Christians can be pro-choice," or something like that. So what the March for Life decided to do was take her new album cover of her new unreleased album and put pro-life slogans all over it. And yeah, it's just weird. I got into it with someone because he said this is copyright infringement and doesn't understand licensing laws or even copyright laws, where you can use an image of someone else's on social media if you're using it for educational purposes, satire purposes. There would be no grounds for a lawsuit there unless the March for Life was maybe printing Taylor Swift's image on posters and putting their logo on it, the March for Life logo on it, and using it for marches or using it for promotion of their own company. That's when maybe a cease and desist letter would come into place, but not on an Instagram post. But that's what I was going back and forth with this guy about. Someone, let's read the comments on this. I'm quite Christian and very much pro-choice. They are not mutually exclusive. Yes, they are. They are mutually exclusive. One cannot profess Christian morals and then at the same time be in favor of the murder of innocent babies in the womb. That doesn't make any sense. And then a very famous Catholic influencer, Anna Louise, said that Taylor Swift is the most talked about person online right now, especially with the upcoming release of her album. Regardless of her personal beliefs, this is how people effectively market a message. Instead of sharing her album and supporting her beliefs, share this and get people talking about life instead. I don't know if this does the trick because the people that know that it's Taylor Swift will ultimately end up talking about Taylor Swift. And the picture itself doesn't necessarily display a very pro-life message because, I mean, one could say when looking at this image, because she's kind of touching her midsection where maybe it's like a, pregnancy announcement photo, but for the people, like I said, I didn't know this was Taylor Swift, but for people who know that it's Taylor Swift, they're just going to be talking about Taylor Swift. And obviously the less we talk about Taylor Swift, the better. So I don't know. Someone who said, The Art of Jacob Green said, for those who don't get it, they're using Taylor because she claims, quote, I'm a Christian, I support abortion. And she's a hot topic, so it gets the word out more than a regular post would if they would use her. No, not really. If you're coming to the March of Life's Instagram, you pretty much would know what the message would be. So, I mean, these comments are dumpster fire, but apparently that they've been deleting comments which have been saying like, hey, this is kind of a disappointing use of imagery to try and get the point across just because it's not very flattering. Yeah, that's what someone says. Mayor's the bear. This is not the greatest picture you should use, not something I think people should be sharing even though it has a good message. Correct. Some other person says genius marketing. No. I guess it's one way to catch someone's attention, but ultimately if you're using immoral imagery to get your pro-life message across, I think you are probably, doing the opposite of whatever goal you're trying to achieve. I don't know. I guess would it be like using heavy metal satanic imagery and then putting, messages of the gospel on it to get your message across? Where I don't know. That seems like it's counterintuitive and really wouldn't make too much sense. But anyway, that's the first thing that I saw. Let's just all, in moving forward, let's all do each other a favor and just stop talking about Taylor Swift. I think I even talked about this on a previous podcast. Taylor Swift sucks. I don't find her very talented. She's not a good dancer. Her songs are mid. She doesn't write her own songs. Here in Nashville, it takes 15 people to write one song. Not a good person. Obviously a feminist, not a Christian. You also can't be a feminist and be a Christian. So just all around garbage person. And I guess that maybe be an unchristian position of my own is to judge others, but I can certainly judge people who affirm the murder of unborn children. I think those people can definitely be judged and judged rightfully and righteously. So Taylor Swift, I will try not to talk to you guys about her ever again, but who knows? Let's move on and let's talk about beer's gay. So Donald Trump had made a post on his social media app, Truth Social, where I guess now he is in support of Bud Light, where Bud Light had that little bit of a cluster F of a marketing debacle when they, I guess, decided to send Dylan Mulvaney cans of beer with his image on them. And people went crazy and thought that Bud Light is now in support of trans people and they're some woke company now, blah, blah, blah. And then Dana White came out and said how actually Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch is a very pro-America company, that it's not woke. It does all these things for veterans and farms and all this kind of stuff. People really didn't care at Dana White's post, but now the cult of MAGA has apparently been switching up their take on the whole Bud Light thing now that Trump has spoken on it. So let's see. I think this is the post that Matt Walsh posted. No. Matt Walsh reposted it because Caitlyn Jenner said something like, as someone that worked, or Bruce Jenner, sorry, someone that worked for this incredible American company and got to know them very well, I raced for Anheuser-Busch in the 80s, and I agree with Donald Trump. So let's see what Donald Trump wrote. The Bud Light ad was a mistake of epic proportions, and for that, a very big price was paid. But Anheuser-Busch is not a woke company. But I can give you plenty that are. I'm building a list and might just release it for the world to see. Why not? The radical left does it viciously to well-run conservative companies and people. Very nasty, but it's the way they play the game. On the other hand, Anheuser-Busch spends $700 million a year with our great farmers, employs 65,000 Americans, of which 1,500 are veterans, and is a founding corporate partner of Folds of Honor, which provides scholarship for families of fallen servicemen and women. They've raised over $30 million and given 44,000 scholarships. Anheuser-Busch is a great American brand that perhaps deserves a second chance. What do you think? Perhaps instead we should be going after those companies that are looking to destroy America. So Matt Walsh posted that, and let's see, what did he say about it? Basically, Matt Walsh said, Anheuser-Busch has not issued an apology, backing off of the most effective conservative boycott in history without even an apology would turn one of our biggest recent victories into one of our dumbest self-owns. I don't know what that means, and here's why I don't know what that means, because I think beer's gay. I think if you drink beer, I think it's pretty gay. Doesn't taste good. Makes you drunk. You can kill people while being drunk, drinking your beer. I think beer is gay. I think it's more gay than all you bourbon and scotch drinkers out there. Again, doesn't taste good. And I know this is a big L take for me. I understand that. I accept that. But caring what a beer company does is so funny. It's such a waste of time to me. Like there are so many bigger problems in the world than worrying how a beer company is going to apologize, and then how a politician will stand up for a beer company. And then when you don't like the way that politician stands up for that beer company who didn't apologize the way you wanted it to, you get upset. I just think it's gay. And I know a lot of Catholics out there will be like, actually, Mike, beer's pretty base. The monks were the first people to brew beer in the monasteries and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't care. Beer's gay. The cult of beer is gay. The cult of drinking is gay. Not a fan of it. Do yourself a favor and just get a pina colada. You want to drink? What do you want to drink? A beer? Why? You can't objectively tell me that it tastes good, because it doesn't. No person actually likes the taste of beer. IPAs, Guinnesses, taste like mud. It tastes like dirty swamp water. You don't want that. The same with scotch. The same with bourbon. Tastes like sweet gasoline. Not fun. It does taste good. A pina colada with a nice pineapple slice in it. Cream, sugar, coconut, vodka. Oh, no, not vodka. Malibu rum. Malibu spiced rum. It's delicious. Now, let's say if my favorite pina colada company started to get woke, I'd be very upset at it. Though I wouldn't boycott it. Here's another thing that's gay. Boycotting. It's just, this kind of is what is awesome about America, is that we don't have forced choices in who we decide to deal economically with as far as our own spending dollars. You don't like Bud Light? Go buy another beer. There are literally 100 different versions of beer out there, thousands of different versions and companies that you can buy beer from. We're gonna boycott Bud Light, you guys. Why? Because my favorite conservative influencer said that they're gonna trans me if I drink Bud Light. That's what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna boycott them, and I'm gonna tell my friends and my family, don't drink Bud Light. And when I go to the big game and I see someone drinking Bud Light, what are you, a fag? Drinking Bud Light? What are you, a trans? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I hate it. And the fact that these people, go on week-long Twitter rants about it, will go on TV and talking about it and debate about it. It's so stupid. This is why conservatives lose. And people will be like, no, Mike, we need to stand firm in our place when talking about culture, because they are trying to trans and they're trying to turn everybody trans. What, with the Bud Light? Get a Michelob Ultra. Oh, you don't like it because now there are less calories in it and that's liberal or whatever? Okay, have a PBR. Have a good old Pabst Blue Ribbon made in New York. Just get a PBR. Who cares? I don't really see them tweeting about DEI. There's so many other choices. Stop it with the beer. The beer is gay. Stop with the boycotting. We're gonna boycott Target because they have men in the swimsuits for women, ladies swimsuits, and for kids with beards. Who cares? Don't shop at Target. Don't shop at Walmart. You have other places that don't shop there if you don't want to. But to publicly boycott a company because you don't agree with it, how narcissistic, how self-involved. Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. If I am now going to start drinking beer. I'm actually going to start drinking beer to piss people off. I'm going to start drinking Bud Light just to be that contrarian, just to laugh in people's faces. Me sipping a Bud Light in the corner. Oh, what are you, gay? Yeah, I'm now gay. I'm now gay for drinking the Bud Light. How does that feel now? Beer is no longer gay. Everything but Bud Light is gay now. I've effectively turned the tables. Sorry. Just a rant. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I guess when you have platforms as big as, let's say, Matt Walsh or someone like Candace or someone like Michael Knowles or all these other different conservative influencers who have followers in the millions, I guess it's good for engagement, right? Maybe a lot of it are just engagement traps or engagement, what would you call them? Engagement missions, maybe that's what you call them, where you don't really care about it, maybe privately, but in order to get people to your page and start talking about a certain topic, you just engagement farming, maybe that's what we'll call it. What can I do that with? Engagement farming? I can just maybe start talking badly about the Pope. That's engagement farming, I guess. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about, which brings me into the next subject. When I say Catholic influencers are kind of annoying, I mean that in the sense that a lot of them just argue with each other. You know, especially on Twitter, I've noticed this. Not so much on Instagram, but on Twitter, the Catholic community on Twitter is all over the place. It's so diverse and not in a good way. You know, they're the Thomists. Then you get the trads. And then you get the people who are fans of Novus Ordo and Vatican II, and then all this sort of stuff where, you know, I just embrace the medieval grind set. I don't care. You guys want to argue about this stuff? That's fine. But do you guys know who this dude Bug Hall is? I got into it with him. Apparently he played Alfalfa in the movie version of The Little Rascals, and then, I don't know, became what people call base trad Catholic, I guess, if that's how he wants to be described. And a lot of people that I know followed him. I never followed him, but he retweeted a video of Voice of Reason that either Franco retweeted or somebody, and he just started going off on this tirade. These people don't know what they're talking about. They're doing more harm than good, blah, 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 blah. And I just retweeted it and said, hey, why are we fighting with each other? And he took that incredibly personally and then went on this weird rant about how men should be fighting. Catholic men should be fighting. And I'm just like, fighting for what? Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, all I see now are different Catholics retweeting other Catholics' content and then criticizing it or trying to enter in debates about it. And it's just like, is that useful? Is that a net positive? Is that going to get us anywhere? Well, but some people are wrong. Some people are wrong. Okay, it's Twitter. It's Twitter. I don't know how that's going to affect your life. You live in a very remote area of the country. Stay there on your farm or whatever. Go to mass, pray, lead your family. But this whole, I honestly think it's a soft generation of men. This is why my app, Go Fight Me, would have been such a hit, I think, because instead of just arguing back and forth with people, the Go Fight Me app would be if two people have a verbal or an ideological disagreement online, what you would do is Go Fight Me would figure out, okay, who wants to fight? These two want to fight, fine. Who's traveling to who? They would fund the travel of that person traveling to the other person. They'd find a boxing ring. The boxing ring would sponsor the fight, and the fight would be not live streamed but recorded. But then after the fight, the two belligerent parties would have to either have a meal or, I don't know, go out and get a drink with each other regardless who won, who lost, that's the whole idea behind the Go Fight Me app or the Go Fight Me website. It's like GoFundMe, but for two people fighting. It's essentially two people doing a duel, but in the modern era. I mean, you can challenge anyone to a duel back in the day. I think there was even a congressman, I don't know if it was from Arkansas or Alabama, who tried to reintroduce a House bill so that politicians can re-engage in dueling with each other. And I think that's awesome. Listen, if you're past the point of your ideas convincing someone, or if you're past the point of your logic convincing someone, and that person does not want to concede, challenge them to a duel. I think it's only appropriate. So, Bug Hall, if you ever listen to this, I challenge you to a duel in fisticuffs or in fighting or in hand-to-hand combat. That's fine. It's just these people, they don't solve anything. I think they're very narcissistic in the way that they'll carry on these conversations and these debates forever, using the biggest words they can find and trying to go back in history as far as they can in order to prove their point. And to what end? To any positive end? No. It's just it's demoralizing. And it kind of makes me sad that we all just can't get along. We all just can't be good and faithful Catholics without someone telling us that we aren't, because maybe we go to the Latin Novus Ordo instead of the TLM, or maybe some people like a little bit of the guitar in the Novus Ordo, and now their whole faith is criticized by someone who's quote unquote trad. It's sad, really. I don't like it. And I think that's just the effects and the results of social media and the ability of everyone to have an opinion. Nobody cares. Then again, you might not even care what I have to say. I'm just going off on a rant. Okay, let's do some questions here, because there aren't too many. There are a couple here. Oh, Nick actually asked a lot. Ricardo Roche, how did your views on contraception change when reverting to the church? Well, by that time, reverting back to the church, we had already had one child, so we weren't using contraceptives. And I think also at that point, my wife had gotten off of birth control. So we were already past that. And that was mainly due to health reasons for my wife. My wife noticed how bad birth control made her feel. And she had, watched plenty of documentaries and done a lot of her own research on the negative effects of birth control. And that's been a very big topic of discussion online recently. I know Candace Owens has been going in on birth control recently. So, yeah. But now, yes, we do not use contraceptives. We find that contraceptives are evil, and they obviously stop the ability of one to get pregnant. And if you are in a married relationship, I think the purpose of a sexual relationship is to bear fruit and bring children into the world. Not every time you have sex, you will become pregnant. So if your wife knows how her cycle works, then you guys can figure it out from there. But I think if you want to be sexually intimate with your wife, you should be, and you should know that there are beautiful results that can happen from that sexual intimacy. I don't call a pregnancy a consequence. I don't call it any of those other words that have negative connotation to pregnancy. You got to bear the consequences of your actions. Like, no, like pregnancy isn't a consequence. It's a gift. I'm aware of the gift of the fruit that comes from any sexual intimacy between my wife and I. So the views on contraceptives didn't really change, but I became a little bit more educated about the marital relationship, if that makes any sense. Favorite Kanye album, Drew Chandler asks, and my answer will probably annoy a lot of you guys, but my answer to that is Yeezus. And the only reason why I like Yeezus and it holds a special place in my heart, first of all, can we just say that Kanye, I miss the old Kanye, but I miss the old Kanye. I don't like the new Kanye. He's parading his wife around naked, literally all the time. Bryson was talking about how Kanye is now lost, and how when Bryson was in Japan with Kanye, they talked a lot about Christianity, and he seemed to be really deep into it. And now all of a sudden, after meeting this woman, Bianca, that's gone totally out the window. So I miss the old Kanye. But yes, favorite album is Yeezus, and because when I was working with Justin, I was in the studio in New York with him, maybe in 2012, in the summer, I want to say. Either the spring or the summer, I can't remember. I was just doing a little bit of photo work for the making of his album, and we were at the Hit Factory Oh, where were we at the Hit Factory? Well, we were at the Hit Factory in Miami. Where were we in New York? Were we in Chelsea? And it was on, there's this record studio, I guess in Chelsea, off 10th Avenue. I can't remember what, but Justin was recording there. It was myself, Justin, one of his road managers, and then recording engineer, and then producer, Cuck. Yeah, his name's Cuck Harrell. And no, was Cuck there? I can't remember. KUK. But all of a sudden, Kanye came into the studio that Justin was in, and Kanye was there working on Yeezus. And it was this awesome conversation that we had for about an hour. I had run out. I was shooting Polaroid film of Justin, so I didn't have my digital camera, which to this day I regret. To this day I regret not bringing my digital camera. The Polaroids are cool, but they were only of Justin. I didn't want to take pictures of Kanye while we were talking because I didn't want to sort of, blitz the conversation with photos from a guy that he didn't know. But we were talking about music, and I think Kanye at the time was talking about the Pet Sounds album, and Justin was saying, Pet Sounds, what's that? And I was talking about how the Beach Boys and the Beatles, basically in the mid-'60s, they had this kind of little friendly rivalry where the Beatles released Rubber Soul, and then the Beach Boys released Pet Sounds album. And at the time, Pet Sounds was the most musically progressive and innovative album at the time. So then the Beatles, in that rivalry, put out Sgt. Pepper, and then Sgt. Pepper became, the most progressive and innovative album in a long time. So it was this back and forth rivalry that the Beatles and the Beach Boys had. And I talked about, the use of psychedelics, LSD in particular, when the Beatles were doing Sgt. Pepper. And I remember Kanye looked at Justin and said, "Who is this guy?" And Justin was like, "Oh, that's my photographer, Mike." And Kanye said, "You should listen to him more." So we talked more. Kanye played some unreleased songs that never made it to Yeezus. He actually played this song with Michael Jackson where I have no idea if he's ever even talked about it or has teased it before, but he played the song. It was like one of the last songs that Michael Jackson had collaborated with someone else. And I think Kanye was maybe working on his part of it. And it was awesome. And he played us some other tracks off of Yeezus. And that for whatever reason, that particular album, especially the song like Blood on the Leaves, I remember hearing that for the first time. My former fiance, an ex-fiance, and we went to Governor's Ball. And one of the people who worked in Justin's production team worked for Kanye's production team. So I remember asking her, "Hey, can we get tickets to Governor's and come see Kanye perform?" She said, "Sure." And she also gave us after show passes where Kanye, after his performance at Governor's Ball, this was maybe 2013, he had a listening party for Yeezus. It was 2012 or 2013, whenever Yeezus came out. And there were a bunch of different celebrities there. And I remember hearing Blood on the Leaves for the first time when those trumpets came out. Whoa. Awesome. And the whole, New Slaves, Black Skinheads, such a great album. And he was coming around after the listening party. He was talking to people. And I said to him, I remember I said, "Hi, Kanye, I was with," this is before Ye. "Hi, Kanye, I was with Justin at the studio. We had met and we'd briefly spoken about the Beach Boys, Beatles." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that." I said, "What's the track with those blazing loud trumpets and horns?" And he was like, "Oh, you like that?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That song's called Blood on the Leaves." I said, "That's amazing." And this was at the time when only Black Skinheads and New Slaves came out. He had performed them on Saturday Night Live, and then he'd performed them at the Governor's Ball. But yeah, favorite album is Yeezus. And I don't know what would be a close second. Maybe Graduation. I don't know. Okay, Nick Long is asking a bunch of questions here. Most important thing men need to do to help heal our society is act more like men. Rather than acting like women on social media and bickering with each other, just act more like men. If you're going to say something to someone, directly say it to them. If you have a problem with someone, address it. And this is in person, this is online as well. I can't tell you how many friendships have blossomed over disagreements online. So if you act like a man and deal with people directly, I think a lot of our problems will help to seal our society, or heal, not seal, heal or seal. Is the Passport Bros movement net good or net negative? For those of you guys who don't know what Passport Bros, I think I have a little bit of an understanding. It's guys who look for wives outside of the U.S. So they get their passports and they will look outside of the U.S. for wives, just because I think they feel that American women are probably too tainted to deal with or to seek out for a marriage. And I don't know if this has anything to do with the red pill community or even like the traditional community where they can't find good traditional American women. I would probably have to say that it is maybe a net negative, because the idea is that we should be meeting women here in our own communities, within our own, especially religious communities, and be marrying them here and starting our families here rather than going outside of our country to another country. But hey, I mean, I can't stop people from doing what they're doing. If you're Orthodox and you want to go to Russia, if you want to go to, I don't know, like Ukraine and find an Orthodox wife and bring them back to the U.S., fine, good. But I think you're going to have a lot of cultural clashes in that marriage, at least at first. So I don't know, probably net negative. Why did you decide to be gay and be Catholic, become Orthodox? Okay, so yeah, Nick Long, thank you. I think I talked about this, that someone asked recently, like, you know, what was your return to Catholicism? And like I said, I was raised Catholic, and coming back to it, obviously it was discerning a little bit with Orthodoxy. You guys who have been with me since IDG know this. And I don't know, it was just a special relationship that I don't know how to explain, but it had to do with Mary, and it had to do with the Catholic veneration of Mary. So that's why I'm Catholic, I guess. And it's kind of funny that Protestants pulled me back into the church. People like Cliff Nettle, watching his online ministry, sort of brought me back into the church. But slowly and surely, I found my way back to Catholicism, and I'm happy. And I'm not gay. And Orthodox isn't gay either. I'm not going to be one of those guys and say, you know, oh, the Ortho bros are gay. Like, no. Beer's gay. The overwhelming majority of Protestantism is Jewish and gay. You good prots out there, you know who you are, you know who I'm talking to. So don't feel offended when I say the word Protestants in a negative light. Don't feel like I'm talking about you, because there's some good Protestants out there who know that I love them. Best starter AR type platform. I just have a Glock and looking at rifles. As far as brands, I don't know what to tell you. I know that the less of a headache comes with anything that is 16 inches or longer. So you can go with like a nice Aero Precision, or even, am I thinking Smith & Wesson, or am I thinking M&P, those type of AR platforms? I think the arrows are good for starters because they're very customizable. But my first rifle in an AR platform is my Daniel Defense Mark 18. That's still the one that I have. It's a little expensive. That's also when my wife and I were working full time and before we had kids, and we were able to afford, you know, a $3,000 rifle on a whim. But yeah, I love my Mark 18. I'm never going to get rid of it. It is fully legal. I'm going to say I complied with the ATF rule for it just because I didn't want to be bothered. And at the time they were offering free Form 1, so why not? But yeah, maybe go Aero Precision, look into that. And because you want to not deal with the headaches of any pistols, configurations, and ATF and all that sort of stuff and their dumb rules, whether they're legal or illegal, I don't know. But yeah, do that. 16 inches or longer. You might be able to get away with like a 14-inch depending on if you're able to throw like a folder on it or something, because I think it's not necessarily the barrel that has to be a certain size. It's the end of the barrel to like the end of the stock. It's just too many rules. So if you want to avoid a headache, just go with a 16-inch or longer. How to balance between looking good and looking gay. This is a very good question. Looking good and looking gay. As a guy who comes from a menswear background, there's one thing. There's actually a bunch of things. And some of these will piss people off, and I'm sorry. Face jewelry, earrings. Don't wear them. If you're a man, don't wear earrings. It doesn't matter if you stretch your ears out, if you've got, you know, big diamond wrapper earrings, don't wear them. Jewelry for the most part belongs on your wrist, maybe around your neck if it is a religious pendant or scapular, or a ring, wedding ring. That's it. Or one more ring on your right finger. I'm not going to tell a guy with Mexican biker rings on his hands that he's gay. It's very manly, but the less jewelry, the better. Second thing is skinny jeans. I've said this before. I've said men over 30 should not wear skinny jeans, but I'm going to bring that age down a little bit. Men over 25 should not wear skinny jeans. Men in general should not wear skinny jeans. It makes you look gay. That's a really good way to avoid looking gay. If you are not exercising or participating in an active sport, don't wear joggers. Wear joggers if you're playing golf, if you're playing baseball, if you're running, whatever, that's fine. Don't wear joggers casually. Just don't do it. What can I say? Fedoras, don't wear fedoras. Don't wear any sort of like basket weave hats like you're, I don't know, Channing Tatum from The Vow. Don't do that. That's a good way to look gay. Vests. When I say this, do not wear denim with like a suit vest, a suit waistcoat, and a tie. That looks gay. Okay? No vests and jeans. You wear vests, you wear a waistcoat with a suit. Okay? And if you have a three-piece suit, and if you take your jacket off, that's fine, because the waistcoat and the trousers should match. What else makes you look gay? Oh. It's big in the menswear industry, and it's done with trousers or jeans, but when people wear the penny loafers with the white socks pulled up all the way and the jeans are hemmed in a way that they don't fall past your ankle and you see about 4 inches of white sock, that is gay. Don't do that. Wear a dark colored sock. Wear jeans that fall to at least your ankle. So if you're wearing other shoes, whether it be sneakers or Oxfords or boots, that the pant falls to an appropriate length. What else? How to look less gay? I'm trying to think what I'd be wearing that would make me look gay. That's probably about it. Superhero t-shirts. Don't wear those. Those are gay. Trying to think what else. Oh, don't wear an untucked polo. That it's not necessarily gay. It's just bad. You always want to tuck in a polo. You don't have to button all the buttons up, by the way. Make sure the polo has a pocket on the front. That's good. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's fine. Best improvement or biggest improvement in your internal life since becoming Catholic? I don't know, because I don't want to say that it hasn't happened yet, but the biggest improvement so far would be praying every night with my family before bed, putting our daughter down. Having family prayer night is very important. Also, saying grace before meals as a family, or even on our own. We were at the mall today. We got some Chick-fil-A. Well, my wife needed to go to the Apple Store to get her phone fixed. And try not to use aftermarket charging ports or charging cords for your phone, because sometimes they leave pieces of metal in there. But yeah, it's very nice when you sit in the food court of a mall and before you eat your Chick-fil-A, you cross yourself in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and thank Christ for the bounty of food that he has put in front of you. And it actually started a conversation. There was this older couple sitting behind us, and they may have saw us cross ourselves, but they said, "How's your daughter? How's the little one?" And they talked to us, and they said, "Do you guys go to a church?" He said, "Yeah, we go to St. Mary's. We're Catholic." And they said, "Oh, we go to a Baptist church down here." I said, "Oh, okay, no one's perfect." So, no, I didn't say that to them, though, but it was a very nice conversation, and I think it's nice for other Christians when they see a family crossing themselves and saying grace, or just saying grace in general. But yeah, I actually felt really bad because we were at Chipotle maybe last week. We went to this awful Chipotle by where we live, where I made some posts about it and just said how horrible Gen Z is. The Gen Z work ethic is awful, absolutely horrible. But we forgot to say grace, and I felt really, really bad about not saying grace, just because there were a lot of things going on, and mostly because there was this girl who was speaking really loudly that was right next to us, and she was talking about how, obviously, it was a Taylor Swift girl talking to her guy friend. They both probably go to the same church, and they were just talking about church, and she was saying, "I don't know, speaking in tongues, I don't know if it's real or not, but it feels real. This lady was praying over me, and she started speaking in tongues, and my whole body started shaking and convulsing, so it has to be real, right?" And I said, "Oh, I want to say something so bad." My wife was like, "Don't say anything. Just kind of don't talk to them about that." And I said, "But I really want to. I really need to. I need to tell them that it's fake." It probably wasn't worth it. But if anything, that is a big. You didn't ask if it was net negative or net positive, but I guess an improvement in my internal life and becoming Catholic is wanting to evangelize to people as much as I possibly can. But thank you anyway, guys. I don't want to ramble on for too long. We're going to have some really interesting guests. I start work on Monday. I'm going to live stream on Saturday. I'm having a garage sale this Saturday, so I think I'm actually going to live stream from it with the laptop outside. But yes, we are having some big guests on the 18th with Michael Jones. That's going to be recorded on a Sunday, so I'll probably put that out on a Monday. So 2 weeks, or a week from this upcoming Monday. And then we are going to have Pastor Scott, whose video has been floating around that you guys saw. He's going to be coming on the show, and just some other people that I'm going to try and get on the show. I think Tim from the New Evangelicals might be coming back on in that same episode with that other pastor. So we'll see. Thank you guys for listening. I really do appreciate it. Have a blessed and wonderful day, and may God bless all of you.